Hello, mamas, and welcome to Empowered Hospital Birth, the podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth. I am the founder of Looma Birth and Empowered Hospital Birth Online. I am a childbirth educator, birth and postpartum doula, and a mama of 3 beautiful babies. Here at Looma Birth and Empowered Hospital Birth, we believe hospital birth can be informed, supported, and deeply empowering, no matter if you're planning to be unmedicated or fully medicated in your birth experience. Every week, this podcast is here to help you feel calm, confident, and prepared for wherever your birth journey will bring you. So grab a cup of coffee, take a couple of deep breaths, and today, let's get into this episode. One sentence that can change the energy in the room instantly is, "Hey, mama, I think we need to induce. Baby is measuring big. I recommend starting Pitocin. I think we should break your water bag. Your labor isn't progressing." And how quickly parents go from feeling unknown, just laboring, just in life, just doing their things, to feeling scared, rushed, overwhelmed, decisions already been made. They're coming in and saying, "Hey, it's C-section time," rather than making it a conversation with our families, with our clients. And this feels so hard for our families. So let's dive into the why it feels so hard when your house team comes at you and tells you, "Hey, we're going to do this thing." Well, first off, it takes that authority. It takes that power from our mamas and it strips it away. It pulls it right away from them and it puts that authority in the doctor, the medical care, the medical system. And for most of the time, that's okay in the medical world because the doctors are those experts. But when you are pregnant, that is not necessarily the case. So a lot of us view those white coats as authority figures. And why that is exciting and when you're going in for a hip replacement or open heart surgery, they are absolutely 100% the experts. You do not know the inside of your heart like they do. However, pregnancy is not that case. These are things that mean something to us. This is the birth of our babies. And so most of us want to be good patients. Most of us are a little scared because the outcome of bucking against what is being recommended is risk of mama's life, risk of baby's life. And those are risks that we don't want to take. Nobody wants those risks. So pregnancy often feels like you're being graded. Nobody teaches us how to have these conversations with medical team. Right? People worry, am I hurting my baby? Am I being difficult? Am I allowed to ask questions? Or do I just say yes? Right? As I said, when they walk in and they make these comments, they're like these big overarching, like, "Hey, we're going to do this thing to you right now." Right? It takes that power away. Like I said at the start of this episode, and it feels so hard. So why? Why does it feel so hard? Because you are no longer in control, right? Control is ultimately an illusion. The hospital is not in control either. It is a combination of mama and baby and how we are coping and dealing with what is being presented. But it is really hard when it feels like an outside authority figure is coming into that birthing experience and just telling you what to do. Now, for some of us, we might love that, right? We might like roll over and be a dog and getting their belly scratched and be like, "Okay, I need to do this. Great, cool. Okay, I'm going to do that," because then that power and that authority figure moves out of our body, right? It is being pulled out of us and it is being given over to those white coats. And that's great for some of us. And if that's you, mama, there's no shame in that. That's totally okay, right? You know that you are choosing that path, but it is a choice. And so when those doctors come in, when those medical staffs are coming in and making recommendations, I want you to pause because that's exactly what it is. It is a recommendation. And I'm intentionally pausing to let that word sink in because ultimately you need to work with your doctor until it is a scheduled C-section, right? We're not going to tell our doctors how to do that C-section or what kind of scalpels to use because we're going to trust in their surgical knowledge in that process. But until we get to that point, we are working as a team with our doctors to make the best case decisions in real time as your birth unfolds. If you listen to the last episode, we talked, what if I changed my mind? We talked about how birth really unfolds in your birthing time. And until we're in those moments, we can't make birthing time decisions. And so this is like that next layer of that conversation. It's we are now in our birthing time and we need to make decisions for our birthing time. We need to work as a team with our medical staff. So when they walk in that door and just tell you as it goes, hey, we're going to do this thing, that's not a conversation. That is not a decision. That is a recommendation. And so sometimes, yes, that medical staff needs to work on repositioning, and that as such, it is a request. It is a conversation. So how do we turn the table? How do we make it go from, hey, we're starting Pitocin to, hey, what do you think if we start Pitocin right now? And so this is one of the biggest things that I love to remind my clients, that it is a recommendation and it is the beginning of a conversation with your medical team. You deserve to understand why. You deserve to understand why now. Why are they walking in the room right now? It's 2:00 in the morning. You and baby were sleeping. Everything's fine on the monitors, right? And then understanding what happens next. So these are all recommendations by your medical team, and you have got to learn, mamas and papas, how to ask the right questions to get you to make those decisions. Because again, the empowerment for your empowered hospital birth story is going to come from you making those decisions. Now, sometimes, like I said, jokingly, but I do mean it in full honestly, if you are somebody who doesn't want to make decisions, you don't want to own this journey, you probably shouldn't be here listening to this, but that's not true. I want you to understand that you can relinquish those choices and just trust your hospital team. Trust the doctors, trust the medical staff, that they have the best interest for you and baby at their hearts, right? They're knowledgeable, and they are very knowledgeable in how to get a baby out in the hospital system. And you can relinquish your ability to make decisions and just say yes, right? That is why so many of us do give birth at the hospital, because we do trust those doctors and nurses implicitly. But birth, again, is different than that open heart surgery or that hip or knee replacement. It is a process that is physiologically, biologically, natural, normal states for our female bodies, for these bodies with wombs and uteruses. And so if you're here, you need to make some plans. So what am I trying to tell you here? What is the takeaways of this? Is there is huge power at pausing. Can we have a few minutes to talk privately? This is the power of having a birth doula or having a partner in that room with you, mamas, is that they can just get you that moment to pause, right? That doctor comes in with two nurses being like, hey, we're starting that Pitocin now. And you can just say, hey, can we have a minute? You can understand the why now, and what happens next. And then you can say, hey, can I have a few minutes to talk about that? Gather your information, gather your thoughts, come back to those values and practices of what you want in this birth experience, and then cross compare. Is what your doctor and medical team supporting your values and your preferences? Do you say, yep, okay, I took a minute. This sounds great. I'm ready to meet my baby. Let's do it. Or, hey, what happens if I wait an hour? You have the right to make it a discussion and to make it a conversation with your medical team. So there's some de-escalating that we have to work on as the clients, as the patients when we're in the hospital system. So one of those things that I love to say, again, is just reminding my clients that whenever they propose anything, it is the start of a conversation. So again, so much of our prepping for labor, planning for birth and postpartum is that mental piece. How do you go into it, right? Are you going in saying, hey, I'm going to be forearmed and forewarned and I'm ready to fight for all of the things that I want? Or are you going in thinking that you are a team member and that you are going to have recommendations and conversations with your hospital staff and the medical staff about what is happening for you, for baby, and what those best practices, those best options are? So understanding that there are recommendations when your doctor walks in and says, hey, I want to induce. The power of pause is really powerful. And I just want you to understand that moms who fear inductions and then choose one, it's okay. Moms who wait a day or two to see how their body does, to see how their baby does, is okay. Moms who ask more questions, right? Again, you're not getting graded at your birth, so that's okay. You can ask all the questions. There's no such thing as stupid questions. where mamas start to feel that empowerment, where they start to feel good about their birth stories and their birth outcomes, is because they understand the recommendation. Well, yeah, okay, it makes total sense to start Pitocin now. You deserve that information. You deserve time when it's possible. You deserve to understand your options. And yes, mamas and papas, here I am again saying, learn your options. Take the time to educate yourself with Empowered Hospital Birth Online, with other online opportunities, with in-person classes. There are so many ways to help you get prepared for your birth journey, where you can feel calm and confident to make these decisions in real time in the hospital as you are in labor. So you are not a passenger in your birth. You, mamas and papas, you are part of the decision-making teams. This is why here at Looma, we are so passionate about helping you prepare. This is why education helps build confidence, and understanding your options reduces your fears. Preparation will not guarantee you a certain birth outcome, but it will help navigate the one you have. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. I hope today's conversation helps you feel a little more informed, a little more confident, and a little more empowered as you prepare for your birth journey. If you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you subscribed, left a review, or shared it with another expecting parent. And if you're looking for personalized birth support, childbirth education, or postpartum care, I would love to connect with you with a free 20-minute discovery call. You can learn more through the links in the show notes. Until next time, I want you to remember this: you are capable, you are strong, and you don't have to do this alone. I'll see you next week.